Would you mind just taking a step back just to review that first slide, just for, because I know there's a lot of new folks in the RSM role?
Yeah. Let's, of course. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Definitely. So no, thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
Sure.
So we welcomed everybody. So we're just kind of backtrack on this training in the slides. Just some of the whys behind why we measure job performance. We want to support quality and productivity. We want to identify high and low performers, and also provide feedback for employees. That should be an ongoing thing. And again, the sign of good management is when something is not a surprise to an employee, and identify any training needs that an employee might need. So these are all just the whys of why it's so important to measure and quantify job performance. The first question on the review is reviewing the major areas of responsibility. Here we're looking at is how effective is this employee at performing his or her core roles and responsibilities? How are they effective at responding to all clients and delivering accurate and timely results? How are they contributing to the department's success? For those in a supervisorial role, how are they managing employee performance through continued feedback and development of employees for success? So again, that's 60% weight of the review. So ways we do this, how do we measure performance? First, we define what the job standards are. Then we take those job standards and we define how employees are expected to perform those standards. We provide department goals and see how employees contribute to those goals. We observe behaviors. Finally, we evaluate all the information we have and see where the employees stack up. We do this by measuring results. We focus on accomplishments. What did they do? What did they accomplish? How did they meet expectations? How did they achieve goals? What were their results? Did they meet it 50%? Was it 100%? And lastly, we hold employees accountable to those goals at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the quarter or whatever the case might be. Just a little note to meeting expectations or accomplishments. This doesn't need to be limited to just whatever we define as part of their job. Employees can also have additional accomplishments that have either strengthened the department or contributed to the department's success. So really, you're looking at all of the things that an employee's done to meet expectations, exceed expectations, and achieve goals. So that's the first part, the first question on the review. Does anybody have any questions, or can I provide additional clarity on question number 1 on the review? Okay. So question number 2 is list competencies identified for this position. Describe performance for each with examples and rate them effectively. So for this one, you're measuring at how effective, or you're measuring if the person has the knowledge and skills that applies to the job, and if they're using that knowledge and those skills effectively. So for example, for a receptionist, you need to have good communication skills. You need to be punctual. You need to be organized. Does this person have those competencies, and how well is this person applying those skills to do those things well? So that's what we're looking at here is list the skills, list the knowledge that is required for this employee to meet those expectations, and describe and give examples of how they're using those skills and knowledge to meet expectations for their job. So again, just kind of piggybacking on that, I spoke before I showed the slide. And also, this is an area where you can identify, again, training and development opportunities. So if an employee is required to know how to do pivot tables in Excel, and you found that this person might be struggling in that area, then we've identified that, your Excel skills may not be at the level we need you to be at. Let's get you signed up for some sort of training so we can get you there. So this is a great opportunity for us also to identify training and development opportunities. Or for example, we need an employee to think big picture, and this employee may have kind of a tunnel vision, linear kind of thinking. We can say, okay, to grow and to take your career to the next level, we need you to think of big picture, operational impact, that kind of thing. So this is a great area to touch on those things. Any questions on question number 2? Go back to that. Questions? Okay.
Yeah, I have a quick question. This is Darren.
Yes. Hi, Darren.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
For these lists of competencies, is that something like the director, of each market for sales would identify? Would they need to be unified, or would this be more George set this list of competencies for sales team?
Do we have a standard list for the entire nation?
Yeah, that's coming.
I got you.
So what this would look like? So for example, you're doing a review for a DSM, right? District sales manager. Mm-hmm. What do they need to know? So it would be per position. What would they need to know, and what skills do they need to have? They might be some overlap with the different positions, but it should be specific for each job.
Yeah, I think what Darren's alluding to is last year we came out with this exact same problem. Is in different regions, people were measuring people based off of different criteria. And what was helpful is from HR, we just got a list of here are the competencies for this particular role. How do they measure up against?
I see.
Yeah, so that might be helpful for us as we try to streamline it nationwide.
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely do that just to have one uniform way to critique and evaluate people.
Yeah.
Am I following you?
Yeah, that way it's fair for everybody. Everybody's measured off the same stuff. Makes sense. Good job, Darren.
Mm-hmm. And what differences, can you give me an example of how the different special nuances? So
I'll give you an example just
get an idea.
IPC as opposed to this. So for IPC, I was very clear with my team that it was going to be based off of growth, portfolio management, your metrics, and your initiatives, while other people, they based their decision off of other criteria. So when we look at everybody that was invited, you could question why so-and-so was invited. You know what I mean? So this way, it's fair and even throughout the entire organization.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Okay. I can definitely get something started, but I would need your help to confirm whether or not it's relevant or applicable to what your team actually does, to what the team members are actually doing.
Perfect.
Good, Darren. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions on competency or the first question, major areas of responsibility? Okay. Lastly, the third question is on the culture perspective, our values: honesty, humility, innovative, aka CPIs, and direct in kind. Does this employee exhibit behavior that's consistent with our values? Is he or she honest, even with the little stuff? Does he or she have ideas, or do you find this person saying, well, that's the way it's always been done? Do they share and give feedback, or does this person kind of is just a complainer without presenting any solutions? Or do they engage in gossip, that sort of thing? Are they collaborative? So this is the part where we get to what's at the heart of the employee, and is it in line with what we value at Concentris and DHA? Any questions on this part? So this is 20%, and the second question on competency is also weighted at 20%. Any questions? Okay. Just some of the things to keep in mind when you're providing feedback and comments is stick to the facts, focus on behavior, and make specific observations. So what this means is you're giving specific examples, something tangible for employees to work with. So, rather than saying something like this person has a bad attitude or something kind of vague in general like that, you can say something, this employee failed to meet deadlines, this employee was non-responsive when this request came from a customer. So specific examples of where they either met an expectation or did well, or failed to meet an expectation and did not do well. We want to make sure, not only for us as supervisors when we conduct the interviews, you want to make sure that we're providing comments, and also that your employees are providing comments for their self-reviews. So what this does is support the rating, the numerical rating that was provided, and it makes the rating more meaningful when you have specific examples and explanations. And again, it gives employees something tangible to work with. So when you say you're a bad performer, they really don't, that could mean a variety of things or interpreted it a variety of different ways. But when you say you're constantly missing deadlines, you're constantly ignoring the customers, they know, okay, well, I need to meet deadlines and I need to be more responsive to my customers. Now here are our rating scales. I'm just going to put them all up. This guy. There we go. Okay. Rating number 1, score. So 1 is low, 5 is the highest. 1 is someone who does not meet requirements and it consistently fails to deliver the objectives in the category. So this is someone that needs to be managed always and probably should be on a final written warning. So there shouldn't be a whole lot of ones. If anything, maybe one area of the review could be a 1, but really, in reality, they should really be on a final written warning if more than one area is a 1. So this person is just someone that's tanking and really not doing well at all. So that's 1. Number 2, rating number 2 is someone who falls below expectations. So they miss expectations in some objectives. They need improvement. They need to do better, but they are showing potential. They have the aptitude to learn or to acquire skills, but they could be either they're new to the job, new to the role, they have new responsibilities. They have the potential, but they still need supervision and guidance, and their performance is still developing. The next one is a 3, someone who's meeting expectations. So this is someone you can rely on to do the job, well. So on occasion, this person might miss something and just need some management and guidance. But overall, the work output is acceptable. It meets expectations, and but still has some room to grow. Presentation. Okay. Number 4 is someone who is exceeding expectations. So this is someone that's on a regular basis sets the bar higher, influences others, performs at a high level, occasionally exceeds targets, does more than what is expected, influences others to improve their performance, gets others to work at a higher level or perform at a higher level, and really just requires a little guidance to do this. So there's not a whole lot of hand holding here, and this person's just rocking it all the time. And then lastly, number 5 is this someone to me is someone who's ready to go to that next level. So this is exemplary performance all of the time in all of the areas, which, while not impossible, very difficult to do, to be exceptional all the time at everything. So this is someone who is outstanding all the time and far exceeds everyone else's performance, consistently exceeding goal targets and exceeds expectations all of the time. So this to me sounds like somebody who's ready, should be benched for the next role, and continue to be developed. So those are the 5 ratings. Is there any questions on those areas? And I've provided this rating scale to everybody, so you guys all have it. I'll resend it just so people can have it at the top of their emails. I know people get hundreds of emails, so I'll just resend it so that, again, it's at the top of your email queue. Last but not least, I want to point out that when we're doing these performance evaluations, we need to be fair and consistent. So to your point earlier, we should use the same measures and criteria across the board, so it is fair, and apply the same rating system to everyone. Support your measurements and your ratings with examples and comments that are factual and not opinions. And explain, employees should know where they stand after their performance evaluations, or any time give them feedback. What's at stake, when you have this rating, or what can you gain from this rating? So again, it should never be a surprise to the employee as far as where they stand. So that is, generally speaking, the performance evaluation process. Does anybody have any questions or other feedback or questions or notes for the group that might be helpful, tips from last year that could help the new managers?
The question I had is, I think it's obvious, but in terms of the point system, it's 1 through 5, right? And there's nothing in between whenever we're giving the score.
I've seen people do half points, so 3.5. So someone might be meeting expectations, but they're teetering on, they're consistently almost at that 4, but not quite. So I've seen it would be acceptable to do either half or quarter increments.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, good question. Does everybody know who their direct reports are and who's responsible for getting their reviews to them by Monday?
Yes.
Does everybody know everybody knows they need to get that to you by Monday? And then your evaluations are due on the 15th. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining our meeting this lovely Friday afternoon. Human Resources, myself, Alexia, and Christy Sputzik, who is our consultant, we're all available to meet with you if you would like one-on-one time with us to kind of just go over this in more detail or to just review the performance evaluations with you, or you just need additional guidance or questions, please reach out for us. We'd be more than happy to arrange something to help you get these done. All right. Thank you. And have a great weekend. And I hope to see you and talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.